Hello everyone! In the previous video, we've talked about trigonometric functions and right-angled triangles, and today we'll be talking about angles and their measurements. So in the beginning, let's start with how can we draw angles. An angle drew in standard position has its vertex at the origin, and one ray on the positive x-axis. The ray on the x-axis is called the initial side, and the other ray is called the terminal side. We also need to determine the direction of the angle. So when drawing an angle in standard position, there are two possible ways of drawing it. The first way is by drawing the ray above the x-axis, and the second way is by drawing it below the x-axis. So it's either counterclockwise or clockwise. If the angle is drawn counterclockwise, then the angle is going to be positive, while on the other hand, if it's drawn clockwise, then it's going to be negative. Now, suppose that I have an angle, let's say theta. Is it possible that I have another angle that lays on the same ray? Well, yes, that's possible. Let's see how. Now, imagine that I go a full round, which is 360, and I add the theta that I already have. We'll get an angle that lays on the same ray. So that will equal to theta plus 360. Now, what will happen if we go the other way around? What if we go clockwise? So starting from the x-axis, we're going to go all the way around to the ray. This will equal to theta minus 360. So as you can see, we have one positive angle and one negative angle. So now suppose that I have an angle that is 80 degrees. Can you find out the other angles that lay on the same ray? Right, we're going to add 360 to 80. This will equal to 440 degrees. And to find the negative angle, we're going to subtract 360 from 80. So this will equal to 80 minus 360, which will give us negative 280 degrees. So these are the two angles that lay on the same ray with 80. Next, we're going to practice drawing some angles. So to draw a negative 75, what we got to do first is look at the sign of the angle. It's negative, which means that we will be going clockwise. 75 is close to 90, which means it will be close to the y-axis, negative y-axis. So we're going to draw a ray from the vertex, and we're going to show the direction of the angle. Of course, the drawing isn't very accurate. Now the next question is 540 degrees. 540 is greater than 360 degrees. So what we're going to do is subtract 360 from 540. So this will equal to 360 plus 180. So what we're going to do is take a whole full round and half a round, because half of 360 is 180. So this is how the angle is going to look like. And since it's positive, we're going to go counterclockwise. Now think with me. Do you think there is another way to express 225 degrees? Well, yes, there is. It equals to 5 pi over 4 radians. But first, what are radians? Now, to better understand the concept of radians, let's imagine that we have a circle which radius is r. If I draw an arc around the circle, which length is r, and then I connect it using a radius, how many of these arcs will I need to have a complete circle? Now we all know that the circumference of the circle equals 2 pi r. To find out how many arcs we need, we'll divide by the length of the arc. The length of the arc here is r, so 2 pi r divided by r, that will give us 2 pi. Now, what does 2 pi mean? 2 pi means that the number of radians in a circle equals 2 pi. A full circle equals 360 degrees, so this means that 360 degrees equal to 2 pi. From this relationship, we can find out how much 1 degree equals in radians. So 1 degree equals 2 pi over 360, which we can simplify to pi over 180. So now to make sure that we fully understand the concept of converting between degrees and radians, we're going to practice some questions. So the first question is convert 135 degrees to radians. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply 135 times pi over 180. So this will equal to 135 pi divided by 180. And when we simplify that, we'll get 3 over 4 pi radians. Now the second question is convert 5 pi over 3 radians to degrees. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply 5 pi over 3 but here we're going to multiply it by 180 divided by pi, because we want to get rid of pi. So we're going to put the pi in the denominator and the 180 in the numerator, and the pi goes with the pi, the 3 goes with the 180, it simplifies to 60. So 5 times 60 will equal to 300 degrees. And this is how we can easily convert from radians to degrees. This is the end of the video. I hope you found it helpful and it made you learn more about angles and their measurements. Also, I hope you learned how to convert between degrees and radians. Our next video is going to be about applying trigonometric functions on any angle. So stay tuned!